Unseen threats in your home. 7 common items that can kill you today. In the quiet corners of your home lurk deadly secrets, almost like ghosts whispering their threats. The thrill of familiarity turns sinister when you realize the innocent bottle of cleaning supplies under your sink isn't just there to keep your house spotless. It harbors a hidden danger that could send you screaming to the hospital. Shocking, right? Your heart races as you imagine grabbing that unsuspecting bottle. What if just one little spill is all it takes to unleash chaos into your life? And what about that cheery houseplant in the corner? The one that sits proudly on your windowsill. It looks so inviting, doesn't it? But kill you? Yes, that lush greenery could be a silent assassin, filled with toxins that, if consumed, can overwhelm your system and lead to a terrifying fate. There's a strange, ominous energy in the air, a sensation that creeps up your spine, twisting your stomach in knots. You think about the bright, innocent curtains fluttering softly in the breeze. But wait, are they concealing something more malevolent? Imagine sitting on your couch, feeling that familiar fabric against your skin, oblivious that lurking within are hazardous chemicals that can make you lightheaded or even worse. Just when you think you know your safe space, a chilling thought races through your mind. Did you check the batteries in your smoke detector? An unexpected silence in the home is just as alarming as a thunderous crash. Isn't it? You can almost hear the tiny ticking clock counting down the seconds to danger. The lingering smell of last night's dinner hangs in the air. But what about that unopened can of food tucked away in your pantry? Could it be harboring a danger that's slowly unfolding as you live your life? Each moment of bliss could morph into an explosion of illness or worse. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Suddenly, a loud crash breaks the intense silence, sending your heart spiraling into your throat. You spin around, heart pounding, terrified at what could be just fallen. Is that friendly-looking bookcase ready to buckle over? Every day we put our lives in the hands of untrustworthy objects surrounding us, unaware of their potential to wreak havoc. The tension mounts, each moment building closer to revelation. What's waiting behind the next mind-boggling fact? As your secrets unravel and dread tightens its grip, the real question looms larger. How safe is your home really, and what other harmless-looking items could be planning their strike? The room felt suffocating. Shadows danced ominously on the walls as you fought against the rising panic. Was that just your imagination, or had the bookcase really moved? Pressing your palms against the cool surface of the nearby table, you took a deep breath, steadying yourself. A few stray items, a forgotten paperclip, a crumpled receipt reminded you that there were more crucial things to worry about. But the sensation grew heavier, like a blanket of dread wrapping around you. You felt a twinge in your stomach, an instinctive warning to tread carefully. Closing your eyes for a moment, you tried to shake off the anxiety, but it only festered. Your eyes shifted to the kitchen where the can of food loomed a silent harbinger. Before you could stop yourself, you found yourself walking toward it, each step heavier than the last. As you grasped the can, you noticed something unsettling. The expiration date had long passed. It may just have been one small, rusted can, but your mind raced with possibilities: botulism, food poisoning, secrets hidden in every crevice of your home. Why hadn't you thrown it away earlier? A distant sound echoed, pulling your attention. The walls creaked as if the house itself was breathing. A shiver coursed down your spine. What more lurked in the shadows? The dishes sparkling in the sink weren't just remnants of an evening meal. They could be waiting to breed bacteria, ready to unleash their havoc the moment you wiped your hands on that seemingly innocuous towel hanging by the stove. Is anything safe? You whispered into the silence, frustration boiling over. Your heart raced at the sheer likelihood of danger. Taking a deep breath, you opened the pantry door wider. More cans stared back, each one a threat wrapped in colorful packaging. The lids glimmered almost mockingly. But as you picked through the choices, another frigid sensation gripped you. The realization that you couldn't remember the last time you cleaned behind the pantry shelf. How many surprises lay hidden there? Knuckles turned white as you fought the urge to pull everything out in a panic. Instead, you fought against the spiraling thoughts, trying to regain focus. What if you did bring those hidden threats into the light? What if the cleaning supplies under the sink were not the only monsters waiting to pounce? A sudden crash rang through the house again, a vengeful echo this time, sharper and more pronounced. Gasping, you turned toward the source. Your heart thundered as that old bookcase swayed ominously, barely balancing. Was it just the house settling? Or was it something more? Your instincts screamed for you to run. But you couldn't. Curiosity and fear locked you in place. This can't be how it ends, right? You muttered under your breath, desperately searching for answers, for clarity amidst chaos. Drawing in a defiant breath, you grasped the edges of the pantry door, hoping to steady yourself. Despite the terror unfurling around you, a question lingered, heavier than the despair. What if everything you had trusted was a facade? Heart pounding, you took a calculated step towards the trembling bookcase. Each moment carried the weight of dread. Just as you reached for it, a noise, a gasp, shattered the silence and made your blood run cold. Was someone else in the house? The tension hung thick like fog. What secrets had your home been keeping from you all this time? What danger had yet to reveal itself? Somewhere in the back of your mind, a chilling thought emerged. What would it take to push you over the edge? With your heart racing and the edges of reality blurring, the next revelation loomed dangerously close. The gasp lingered in the air, stark against the oppressive silence. Your pulse pounded hard, a frantic drumbeat urging you to flee or fight. Only one question filled your mind. Who else was here? You spun around, scanning the dim corners of the room, your breath shallow and rapid. Shadows flickered, twisting shapes that seemed to mock your mounting fear. Every creak of the house felt like a voice whispering your name, urging you to uncover the truth or to turn away in dread. "Hello?" you called, your voice trembling. It echoed back, a mocking shadow of your bravery. There was no answer, just the hollow thud of your heart driving the air from your lungs. You stepped back toward the bookcase, every instinct telling you to leave it alone. But curiosity clawed at you, relentless. Then, as if summoned by your fear, a loud crash erupted from the hallway, sending a wave of ice through your veins. The noise reverberated like a gunshot, shattering the fragile quiet. You stumbled towards the sound, propelled by an unseen force that mingled horror with desperation. "Stay calm," you whispered to yourself, but the tremor in your voice betrayed the lie. You clutched your phone, a fragile barrier against the uncertainty, and pressed the screen to light your way. The beam danced across the hallway, illuminating the familiar wallpaper scratched with time, now morphed into a canvas of dread. As you reached the corner, a figure loomed at the far end, silhouetted against the dim light seeping from the window. You squinted, trying to make sense of it. Your breath caught, each second stretching painfully taut. Was it a trick of the light, or was something truly lurking there? "Who is there?" you challenged, forcing your voice to hold firm. The figure shifted, melding into the shadows, retreating further from view. An unsettling chill grasped your throat. Fear wrapped around you like a vice, squeezing tighter with each passing moment. The noise of disarray grew closer, a symphony of chaos, a clatter, a low growl, or perhaps a cry. It twisted around you, echoing the turmoil in your mind. What if it was all just a product of your imagination? Or worse, what if you weren't alone? Your instincts screamed at you to flee, yet you pressed forward, heart racing, breath hitching. You turned down the hallway and stepped into the light pooling at the end, desperate for clarity, oblivious to the threat behind you lurking just out of reach. What if something was waiting? What if each moment brought you tearing closer to a realization you weren't ready for? But just then, a soft whimper broke the silence, sending a shockwave of terror through you. It came from the living room, A place once filled with warmth now transformed into an interrogation chamber. The noise pierced through your conviction. "Help me," the voice pleaded, frail and pitiful. Your heart skipped, the kindness of that voice cutting through the layers of dread. Who was it? You pressed on, curiosity igniting a flicker of determination. It could be someone in trouble, a real person trapped in a nightmare. Pushing through the threshold into the living room felt like crossing an invisible line into darker territory. Your heart thumped in your chest, an echo of uncertainty. Light flickered wildly above you as though the house itself were alive with intention. And there it was again, the cry, muffled yet undeniable. You felt your resolve waver, but you wouldn't turn back. Not now. The figure in the shadows was there, waiting, and it was only a few steps away from you. What if you uncovered something far more sinister than you had imagined? The truth was creeping ever closer, and before you could brace yourself, the next moment unveiled an unexpected twist, one that would change everything. You stepped into the living room, each breath weighing heavier than the last. The warm light flickered, revealing scattered furniture draped in dust, a graveyard of memories. It felt strange, almost claustrophobic, as if the walls were closing in, swallowing you whole. "Help me," the voice came again, clearer, yet laced with a tremor of desperation. It beckoned you closer, wrapping around you like a shroud. You fought against every instinct urging you to run, just as your heart thudded with confusion and dread. "Where are you?" You called out again, this time your voice stronger. It felt stupid, but you needed to know. The silence was suffocating, punctuated only by the distant sound of the wind howling outside. As you stepped further into the room, shadows danced across the walls, distorting familiar shapes into grotesque figures. The air was thick with anticipation, waiting for the moment when your courage would falter. You squinted into the corners, where darkness pooled, fearing what might lurk just beyond the faintest glimmer of light. Then, a loud crash resonated from behind you, followed by the unmistakable sound of something or someone scraping across the floorboards. You whirled around, heart racing. Panic clawed at your throat. What if it was the figure from the hallway? What if it had followed you here? "Show yourself," you shouted, trying to mask the tremor in your voice. No answer. Just the sound of your own heartbeat pounding relentlessly against your eardrums, that a shiver ran down your spine. What were you even doing here? You had crossed a line that should have remained untouched. Still, that frail voice anchored you. It was a beacon in a storm. "Please help," the cry, muffled but earnest, tugged at your heart. "Where are you?" you asked again, fear intertwining with a strange sense of duty. A small whimper responded, leading you toward a partially closed door at the far end of the room. You hesitated. Something felt wrong. The voice seemed both familiar and foreign, a twisted melody beckoning you deeper. But as you moved closer, the door creaked open slightly, revealing a sliver of darkness, an abyss that could swallow you whole. With shaking hands, you pushed the door wide open. Inside, the room was unrecognizable, a cavern of shadows and lingering dread. Your stomach dropped when you spotted the corner of a figure huddled against the wall. It looked human, but the uncertainty made your skin crawl. "Are you okay?" you asked, forcing yourself to approach it. As you stepped closer, dread morphed into panic. The figure shifted, revealing a face twisted in pain, eyes wide with terror. "Get away! Get away!" It screamed suddenly, and you jolted back, smashing into the doorframe. A flash of movement caught your eye. What was that? There, just out of the reach of your phone's light, a shape slithered across the floor, insidious and silent. It was not just the voice that didn't belong, but tinges of movement that felt distinctly wrong. Heart pounding, you turned to run, but a hand shot out, grabbing your ankle, pulling you toward the darkness. "Help me, don't leave." The voice echoed again, but now it was mixed with a guttural snarl, drowning in panic and despair. You fought against the grip, clawing at the floor, desperate to escape the clutches of something foul. And then, in the chaos, everything went silent. The hand released you abruptly, leaving a lingering chill. What just happened? You blinked, eyes darting around, confusion blurring your senses. Was it gone? Had you imagined it all? But somewhere in the silence, you felt the pulse of danger, a warning echoing in your bones. There was no time to think. You stumbled backward, heart racing even faster now, a sense of urgency awakening deep within. Had you unwittingly descended into madness? Was it the house, or was it you? Just then, a sound shattered the silence again, a low growl that reverberated through your body, chilling you to your core. You froze, caught between the horror behind and the darkness ahead. In that moment, the looming question burned brighter than any fear. What if you weren't meant to leave at all? And as that thought settled, the growl deepened, transforming into a guttural laugh that promised your world was about to unravel. The laughter echoed, a twisted mockery that sent icy tendrils snaking up your spine. You turned abruptly, heart pounding like a drum, wings of panic unfurling inside your chest. What was hiding in the depths of this cursed home? In the next moment, the growl sharpened, menacing and relentless. A light flickered in the corner of your eye, and you dared a glance. The figure, its face still contorted in fear, had vanished, leaving only a lingering dread in its place. You couldn't shake the sensation that you were not alone. The shadows around you thickened, pressing against your skin like a heavy fog, suffocating and oppressive. "Help me," the voice returned, softer this time, echoing from the depths of your mind, clawing at your sanity. With a deep breath, you pushed back against the rising tide of fear. You had to keep moving. You had to get out. As you sprinted toward the front door, the wind outside howled like a banshee, an ominous chorus that felt all too familiar. A chill danced down your arms as you reached the threshold. But just as you set your hand on the doorknob, a powerful force slammed it shut, rattling the frame. "No!" you screamed. You pounded your fists against the wood, desperation mounting with every strike. Yet the door remained stubbornly unmoved, as though the house itself conspired to imprison you. Suddenly, the floorboards creaked behind you. You spun, adrenaline surging as a new wave of terror pushed aside the slight hope of escape. A figure emerged from the shadows, skin glistening with moisture, eyes gleaming like polished obsidian. It was not human, but it bore an unsettling resemblance to someone you knew. "Why did you come here?" the figure rasped, voice drenched in sorrow. I didn't mean to." The words tumbled from your lips, hopeless and broken as you took a cautious step back. "I just wanted to help." "Help?" The laugh escaped its lips like shards of glass, sharp and painful. "You think you can help? Do you even understand what you've stumbled into? What are you talking about?" You felt cornered, trapped in a web of confusion and fear. Yet deep inside, something stirred a need to understand. "Who are you?" The figure's face shifted, twisting into an array of emotions from anger to hopelessness. "I was once like you, but this place, it changes you, consumes you." You shook your head, trying to pull your thoughts together. Something echoed in its words, a truth you were not ready to confront. "No, I want to be like you." "Run," it said suddenly, voice cracking with urgency. "Before it takes you too." Before you could react, the figure lunged forward, reaching for you. Instinct kicked in and you dodged to the side, racing toward the staircase that led to the upper floors, where light peeked through cracks. You couldn't stop. The house was alive, gridlocked in a battle of wills. With every step you took, the shadows writhed and twisted as if in a dance of malice. Whispers surrounded you, echoing muffled warnings and despair. "It's coming, don't look back," but fear compelled you to look. Just once. As you turned your face back toward the living room, you caught a glimpse of something massive slithering through the darkness. A silhouette that twisted and turned, bending the mind in ways words couldn't describe. "No!" you gasped, clawing for the rail as you stumbled up the stairs. The whispers grew louder, merging into a cacophony of terror. Then, just as you reached the top, the laughter returned, each note piercing through you. You can't escape. The walls seemed to pulse, and a surge of energy enveloped you. And before you could grasp what was happening, you found yourself on a different staircase, one that didn't belong to the house at all. Where had you gone? You steadied yourself, breathing heavily, trying to understand what lay ahead. but a tremor in the ground beneath your feet signaled that the true horror was still very much alive and very nearby. At that moment, realization struck. You were not just a visitor in their world. You were part of it now, and the question loomed as a door creaked open at the end of the hall, lights flickering overhead. What awaited you on the other side? A shiver raced down your spine as the door slowly creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway that shimmered with an unsettling allure. Flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced across the walls, twisting familiar shapes into grotesque forms. You hesitated, heart pounding in your ears, the scent of damp wood and something metallic heavy in the air. The whispers wrapped around you like a fog, urging you to move, but every instinct screamed for you to turn back. Just one step, you murmured to yourself, inching deeper into the unknown. As you crossed the threshold, the atmosphere shifted. The light faded behind you, leaving only a veil of darkness that felt almost sentient, wrapping itself around your legs like a predator. The hallway stretched endlessly, lined with doorways that yawned open, dark and hungry. A sudden jolt of fear shot through you, and without thought, you pressed forward. The floorboards groaned under your weight, echoing your racing pulse. Each step felt heavier, as if the house itself was determined to slow you down, to drag you back toward whatever horror lurked in the shadows. "Help me," the voice returned, now chillingly familiar. It was a sound that clawed at your memories, tugging at the edges of your mind, dragging you toward a door at the end of the hall. You hesitated, the doorknob looming ominously before you. With trembling hands, you reached out, but a voice inside you screamed to stop. "Don't open it. Whatever's in there could be worse. Just keep moving." Your heart raced as a battle raged within. Then, a burst of cold air whipped through the corridor, extinguishing the lights and plunging you into darkness. Panic surged as you fumbled for the wall, your breath coming in harsh gasps. No, no, no. Your frantic mind struggled to regain control while shadows twisted around you like serpents. Just as despair threatened to swallow you whole, a flash of light erupted from the door, momentarily illuminating the hallway in a blinding glare. You shielded your eyes, heart hammering. The glow was alive, pulsing rhythmically, the heartbeat of the house. "Are you coming or going?" The voice that resonated now was neither soft nor fearful. It held an authority that demanded your attention. Every hair on your body stood on end, and against your better judgment, you took a step toward the door to peer inside. What you saw made your blood run cold. Images flickered across the walls like an old film reel of family, laughter and joy, carefully preserved moments shattering in your mind. But the faces twisted and morphed into despair, helplessness bleeding through their smiles. And the figure, the one that looked so much like you, hung at the center of it all, eyes wide with horror, mouth gasping for help that never came. "No," you gasped, reeling back, heart racing with betrayal and dread. Everything felt surreal, the boundaries of reality blurring as twisted fears hammered against the inner walls of your mind. "Join us," the voice echoed ominously, blending with the laughter from earlier. The imagery shifted, faces vanishing, leaving only darkness behind. Grappling with lethal terror, you forced yourself to retreat, stumbling back down the hallway. But as you turned, every door slammed shut, trapping you in a stage of impending doom. In the stillness that followed, one door stood ajar, the only one you hadn't noticed before. From within, you could hear soft humming, a familiar lullaby that called to you. Was this your chance for escape or the invitation to become a part of the darkness? With every instinct on high alert, you weighed your options. What awaited you behind that door? Would you have the courage to find out? You took a shaky breath, your heart a wild drum in your chest. The lullaby drew you closer, a painful tug-of-war within you. As you stood there, a whirlwind of emotions crashed over you: fear, curiosity, and a sliver of hope. This door, barely ajar, was a beacon in the oppressive dark that surrounded you. You glanced back down the hall. The shadows loomed, heavy and menacing, as if they were alive, eager to swallow you whole. You gritted your teeth and pushed the door open a bit wider, the creak echoing like a gunshot in the unsettling silence. A dim glow spilled out into the hallway, revealing a small room bathed in an unsettling warmth. The walls were lined with shelves filled with dusty books, relics of forgotten moments. But it was not the books that caught your eye. It was the figure seated in the corner, shrouded in darkness, humming the lullaby you so desperately needed to unravel. Help me, the voice, deeper now, tinged with despair, floated to you like smoke. It was hard to tell if it belonged to the figure or the whispers that filled the room. As you stepped further inside, the weight of dread settled like an anchor in your gut. The figure lifted its head, revealing glimmering eyes painted with sorrow. It wasn't just familiar. It was you. The sight of your own reflection twisted in the dim light sent shockwaves of nausea spiraling through you. The face was older, weary, marred by loss, a specter of your future. What happened to me? You gasped, unable to look away, the horror of your life playing out before you like an unspeakable tragedy. You could have been happy, the figure replied, voice trembling, but you hesitated. You let fear anchor you. The words struck hard. A pang of guilt flooded through your veins, every mischance flashing before your eyes in vivid splendor. The figure leaned closer, drawing you in, and the room vibrated with an unnatural energy. Join me, let the darkness guide you. No, I won't fall into your trap. A surge of defiance rose within you. You turned to flee, but the door slammed shut. Desperation clawed at your insides. The shadows swirled, creeping closer, whispers morphing into a cacophony of anguished cries reverberating through the air. Join us. Embrace the truth. You thrashed against the door, cold sweat pooling at your brow. The whispers grew louder, their urgency mounting. This is what we are. We are the lost, the forgotten. Suddenly, a small window at the back of the room caught your eye. With strength fueled by adrenaline, you hurled yourself toward it, clawing to escape. But just as your fingers grazed the edge, the humming abruptly stopped, plunging you into a jarring silence. What have you done? The voice rang through the room, a mix of anger and despair. Shadows writhed and twisted around you, closing in. A bright light erupted in the corner, blinding and fierce, pulling you toward its radiant pull. An instinctive cry erupted from your throat, and you stumbled backward, falling into the abyss of the darkness. And then, everything stopped. You found yourself plunging through blackness, the weight of the world crashing around you, until you hit the ground hard. Pain shot through your body. Dazed, you lifted your head, visions of the room fleeting like bad dreams. What surrounded you now was familiar yet utterly foreign. You were back in the hallway, but it felt different. The door was gone, and the walls pulsed with an eerie heartbeat. Panic ignited anew as you registered the absence of formerly visible exits. What's happening? You whispered, dread creeping up your spine. A new voice gripped your mind, low and sinuous, wrapping around your thoughts. It's time to confront what you fear or succumb to it. As shadows closed in on you once more, an icy realization hit. You couldn't escape this place until you faced whatever darkness the house had to reveal. What lay ahead could be your salvation or your ultimate damnation. Would you have the strength to fight back this time? Or would you be consumed by the ghosts of your own making? Fear surged through you, amplified by the tight, pulsing walls that seemed to close in with every breath. The darkness felt alive, eager to feast on your dread. You looked around, desperate for an answer or an escape, but the shadows swirled tightly around your body, whispering promises that turned your stomach. You will find the truth if you dare to look. The voice lured, thick with seduction and malice. Truth? You spat out, bitterness dripping from your tongue. What kind of truth awaits in this horror? The shadows flickered, and for a fleeting moment, you glimpsed something moving in the darkness, familiar shapes that sent your heart leaping into your throat. Memories? Or traps? Face your past or drown in your regrets. The voice urged again, sharper this time. The air thickened, making it hard to breathe. The choice is yours. You took a steadying breath, feeling the weight of decision rest heavy on your shoulders. What did that mean? Regrets floated in your mind, choices left unmade, words left unsaid. Torn between fighting and falling, your gaze fixed on the pulsating shadows. Could you face your mistakes? A figure stepped from the darkness, a face you recognized too well. It was your younger self, a girl filled with ambition and dreams. But now, those dreams were dimmed beneath layers of fear and loss. Why did you let me slip away? The younger you pleaded, tears glistening like diamonds in the dark. Everything was within reach. You ran from it. You ran from me. No, I didn't. Your voice trembled. But fear began to morph into a burning rage. You did. The younger self's voice trembled with accusation. You chose fear over love. You let them go because it was easier. The shadows seemed to vibrate with the weight of that truth, the echoes of your deepest regrets thrumming in the air. You took a step back, the memories flooding in like a storm. Lost friends, lovers, the voices that had called out for you once and were now silent. Frantically, you shook your head. I had to protect myself. The shadows scoffed, weaving tighter around your form. But at what cost? I won't let you drown me in this chaos. You screamed, summoning every ounce of determination you had. The pulsating darkness snapped in response, sending a shockwave of energy pulsing back at you. I will not be your prisoner. You stumbled forward, propelled by the surging power of your own defiance. The younger you locked eyes with you, expression shifting from despair to understanding. A flicker of hope ignited within you. Face it. Own it, she urged, the shadows growing frantic as though they could feel the change in your spirit. You took another step forward, felt the icy caress of the darkness retreat just slightly. I have the strength. I will not allow fear to control me anymore. But as you pushed forward, the shadows lashed out, wrapping around your legs and pulling you down. You struggled, breath catching in your throat. Don't let go. The younger you cried, reaching out. This isn't the end. With a final effort, you summoned the brightness within, the warmth of your ambition and hope. In that moment, surge and struggle met as you fought against the tide of darkness. But just as you thought you might break free, the shadows whispered a chilling promise. You may fight, but the depths will always seek to claim you. With that, the walls began to throb, the air thick with new darkness, and panic seared your heart. You braced yourself, heart pounding in your ears. Could this really be the path to salvation? Or was it a descent into something far more sinister? The shadows danced around you, waiting for your next move. As fear laced with determination, one question pulsed louder than the rest. What would happen if you broke free? And in that vital moment, everything seemed poised to tip. The shadows seemed to pulse, almost like a living creature, pressing against you from every angle. You could feel their cold tendrils wrapping tighter, squeezing the hope from your chest. The younger you stood strong, defiance etched across her face, urging you to push back against the encroaching darkness. Remember who you are. You can't let them win, she shouted, her eyes burning with fierce determination. With each frantic heartbeat, you recalled the moments that had led you here, the friends you had turned away, the love you had forsaken. But now, they fueled you, each memory a firework of pain igniting a new resolve. You planted your feet firmly, twisted your body against the grip of the darkness, and shouted, I refuse to be your prisoner. The very air seemed to shimmer with your defiance. The shadows recoiled slightly, faltering for the first time. It was as if they could not comprehend the power of your newfound strength. But their whispers, those chilling promises, echoed louder than ever. You can't escape what you've done. You're wrong. You roared, voice ringing with conviction. I'm not defined by my failures. I've learned from them. As the words left your lips, something extraordinary happened. The shadows shuddered, and flickers of light began to break through the suffocating darkness. Like the first rays of dawn after a relentless night, slashes of illumination cut through, revealing glimmers of the past. Faces appeared, those you had lost, their eyes filled with both sorrow and understanding. I'm sorry, you gasped, tears streaming down your face. Each apology felt like a drop of light, breaking through the heaviness that had once suffocated you. The shadows recoiled further, agony etched across their dark forms. Fight for us, a voice rang out, unmistakably familiar. We've always been here, waiting for you to reclaim your strength. With that voice igniting your spirit, a powerful surge coursed through you. You exhaled loudly, embracing every ounce of emotion. The regret and sorrow merged with forgiveness and hope. Your heart raced, each beat roaring with life. You charged at the darkness, drawing on all the strength within you. The shadows writhed, hissing, "You'll regret this." But you pressed on, determined to shatter their hold. As you fought through, slashing at the inky forms that reached for you, the darkness screamed. Each blow sent them recoiling, the air crackling with your determination. You could feel the tide of fear receding, the heaviness lifting as if a new light was illuminating the entire chamber. But just as it felt like victory was within reach, a chilling wave of desperation washed over you. The deeper shadows around you pulsed violently, forming a greater entity, something horrific and menacing, far beyond any darkness you had faced before. It took shape, a grotesque figure of all your regrets, twisting and turning, mocking your every step toward freedom. "We will claim you," it howled, voice echoing with malice and despair, drowning out the light you fought so desperately to hold on to. Heart pounding, you stood your ground. You can try, but now you faced not just shadows, but a manifestation of everything you feared, a haunting of your own making. What lay ahead would determine your fate. Would you embrace this new battle, or would fear seize you once more? With dread and determination battling for dominance, you stood poised at the edge of the abyss. The moment had come. In the heart of that monstrous darkness, you faced the manifestation of your fears, an image formed from regrets, mistakes, and the weight of shadows that had clung to you for all too long. It twisted and writhed, its presence suffocating, every breath feeling like a struggle against thickened air. "We are nightmares woven from your own fabric," it roared, voice layered with 1,000 echoes, reverberating harshly against the walls that had borne witness to your despair. Your heart thundered in your chest, pounding like a drum, urging you to flee. But something vital began to shift inside you. The younger you stood firm beside you, eyes blazing with hope and resilience. "Remember who you are," she shouted, urging you to reclaim the power buried beneath doubt and despair. In that moment, clarity washed over you like a cleansing tide, the wisdom of your past lighting the way forward. "I am not my fears," you bellowed, voice strong and resolute. "I will not bow down to you." The shadows writhed and hissed, recoiling from the assertion of your spirit. Each word you spoke fueled an inner fire, igniting courage that surged through you, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. With steady resolve, you surged forward, fists clenched. "I am made of light. I am filled with love. I choose to embrace it." With each declaration, beams of light erupted from within, illuminating the room, slicing through the oppressive shadow like hot knives cutting butter. The darkness screamed, twisting violently in an attempt to consume you, but you were ready. Drawing on memories you had long buried, friendships lost, love not expressed, moments of laughter shared, you let them flow through you, merging with the light that built and grew, radiating from your very being. You suddenly felt the power of all those moments surged inside you, like an electric current awakening every nerve ending. The grotesque figure before you faltered, its form growing distorted as the warmth from your heart spread. "I'm sorry," you shouted into the chaos, aimed at the dark entity that represented all that you'd abandoned. "I'm sorry for every moment of hesitation, every time I chose fear over love, every time I did not reach out. I'm ready to confront the pain." Each acknowledgement peeled layers away from the figure, its hold on you growing weaker. At that beautiful moment of vulnerability, you stepped deeper into the radiant light that surged with every challenging memory. "I forgive myself," you cried, conviction guiding each word. The effect was instantaneous. A brilliant flash illuminated every corner as the shadows hissed and shrieked, recoiling in terror from the unleashed light. With newfound strength, you formed a formidable barrier, driving the darkness back, pushing it away from every edge of your being. "I will no longer be ruled by regret," you shouted as the last tendrils of darkness writhed in agony, their cries fading into silence. And then, in a powerful crescendo, the darkness collapsed, imploding in on itself until it vanished entirely. The room filled with brightness, a warm embrace that surrounded you like a gentle hug, a liberation from chains that had bound you for far too long. You collapsed to the floor, breathless, the weight of that moment washing over you like a wave, ebbing and flowing in relief. The whispers that had haunted you faded into the gentle sound of soft winds and the distant echoes of laughter, guiding you toward warmth, light, and a sense of safety. When you finally opened your eyes, the familiar dim hallway emerged, brighter than before, every shadow gone, every door standing open, radiating the promise of new beginnings. Hope flickered in your chest like a candle waiting for a gentle breath of wind to ignite it. As you stepped into the light, the image of the younger you shimmered, smiling, a symbol of everything you could and would become. "You did it," she said softly, pride lacing her voice. "Now go live." It was time to embrace your true self, to nurture all that lay ahead with courage and openness. As you left the house behind, the warmth of the sun wrapped around you, a reminder that every step forward was marked with purpose, filled with love, and kissed by newfound freedom. Turning back one last time, you whispered, "Thank you," knowing that you were never alone in your battle. The shadows had become part of your story, but no longer would they define you. With that, you stepped into the vibrant world outside, ready to embrace the vibrant life that awaited, abundant and unshakable, feeling liberated like never before. Now, here's the pivotal moment for you. Join the journey and subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss out on the next thrilling story. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to help feed the algorithm. I want to hear from you, so flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Did you ever think it would unfold like this? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Real fans like you know how vital it is to support our community.